And a minute past the hour, developing this morning, Albuquerque's mayor is asking city councilors to approve a lot more money to pay for the attorney who's negotiating police reforms with the feds. Scott Greenwood has been working for the city since April, negotiating with the Department of Justice on reforms to APD. Now the mayor wants to up the total to $500,000 for him so far. No one knows exactly what that money is for because Greenwood hasn't submitted a single invoice since July.
There is work that they are currently doing and have done that they have not been paid for, but at the same time, they should be sending these invoices to the city so we can review them.
City Councilor Ken Sanchez requested a review of what Greenwood had billed the city from April to July. The review found the city paid him $1,300 in expenses that they shouldn't have. They also paid him nearly $3,500 for expenses without detailed receipts to back up his purchases. The mayor's office refused to answer News 13's questions about why nothing has been billed for 8 months.
And this morning, a former Bernalillo County worker accused of embezzlement knows his punishment. Some say he's getting off easy, though. Almost 4 years ago, Clifford Valencia was arrested for stealing nearly $23,000 from the county clerk's office. He's accused of pocketing cash payments for fees like marriage licenses, tax liens, real estate records. Yesterday, a judge ordered Valencia to pay the county back for the money he stole and 18 months of unsupervised probation.
I have no concerns that this will be an issue again. I think this is a fair agreement given the restitution.
KRQE News 13 got a statement from the DA's office saying Valencia has a slim criminal history, cooperated in the investigation, and agreed to pay all that money back. An Albuquerque blood tech who offered to fix DWI test results in exchange for sex is guilty this morning. A jury convicted 46-year-old Jason Bice on 3 counts of extortion and 2 counts of acceptance of a bribe. Bice worked for Alliance Drug Testing. He faces up to 12 years in jail. It's not over for Bice, though. He faces 2 more trials on similar charges.
The bill spring and fall is getting a lot of attention from you on KRQE.com right now. The Senate voted to keep New Mexico on daylight saving time, and that bill was introduced by Roswell Republican Cliff Pirtle. If it passes, New Mexico would still be in line with Mountain Time from March through October, but from November to March, Central Time. That could get a little confusing, especially for business customers along the state line. And what about Las Cruces and El Paso? They're about an hour apart. In the winter, commuters would have to leave Las Cruces by 8 to get to El Paso by 8.
Well, I'm sure there would be some confusion, but I don't know that it would be anything major.
I don't care one way or another. My life is driven by the rotation of the planet and the sun. It's irrelevant.
If the House does pass the bill and the governor does sign it, the federal government would still have the final say in all of this.
New this morning, a bill that limits the use of warrantless drones by police is moving forward in Santa Fe. The bill, sponsored by Democrat Gerald Ortiz-Pino and Republican Paul Pacheco, passed the Senate yesterday 38-0. Now, the bill stops any evidence collected without a warrant from being used in court. It also gives citizens the right to seek civil action if they are targeted. Law enforcement agencies would still be able to use drones if they're needed to prevent, quote, imminent danger to life. It looks like the state will not be putting the spaceport up for sale. The bill stalled in committee. Senator George Munoz introduced the bill, saying he's tired of the taxpayers footing the bill for the $200 million futuristic spaceport, which is struggling to bring in money.
So it's 5:05 now, and it's that time of the year. TVs are tuned to college ball, and all of the talk is about brackets. And you may also start noticing more people disappearing from the office. I'm not accusing anybody, but Crystal knows what I'm talking about. Crystal?
What? Oh, hey, Adam. Sorry about that. Yeah, just doing a little March Madness checking at this time. I noticed you were going to be reading for a little bit. Shh, don't tell my boss. Okay, it's no secret that when March Madness happens, brackets go up, productivity at work definitely goes down. Let's take a look at the numbers right now. So this is what we have so far as numbers. Almost 3 in 10 Americans plan to watch March Madness games at work. That's 39%, right from their work computers. Kind of like me this morning. That's according to Retail Me Not. Now, when you break that down even more, a Yahoo Sports poll found 56% of American workers spend an hour of their workday following the games. If you figure about 50 million Americans participate in March Madness, according to a Microsoft survey from several years back, That means businesses across the U.S. will lose more than $1 billion for every hour employees spend watching the basketball games during the first week of the tournament. That's only the first week of the tournament. Can you believe that? But an hour work is not enough for some. According to the Yahoo Sports poll I mentioned earlier, 14% of fans actually take a sick day to stay home and watch the tournament. I don't know about that. We'll have that coming up later. Back to you.
You got to love your basketball. A lot of people do. So what do you tell your boss when you'd rather stay home and watch March Madness? We're taking a look at the top excuses used in the next half hour. Here's a heads up, too. You have until 10 a.m. to fill out your bracket, so get going. With March Madness comes a lot of programming changes. KRQE is going to be carrying some of the coverage live, and that means some of your favorite soaps and news programming will be changing starting today. So go to KRQE.com. You can get all of the details right there. On to this, a 41-year-old ex-convict is under arrest after a shooting spree in Mesa, Arizona.
Yeah, police say Ryan Giro shot 3 people in a motel room, killing 1, then shot a student at a restaurant. Officers claim he then carjacked a teacher's vehicle before shooting 2 more people. They say he did act alone in this. Were you a victim of the massive Target data breach? You may be coming into money soon, but it won't be easy. USA Today reports Target is about to settle a class action lawsuit in the wake of its 2013 data breach after court documents were filed in Minnesota yesterday. Now, according to the settlement, a $10 million fund will be set up for victims. Each could get up to $10,000 in compensation, but victims have to prove they were harmed, and many customers will not be able to prove they lost money. The breach impacted up to 110 million people.
A movie theater in Texas is accused of hoarding hundreds of lost debit, credit, and Social Security cards, even licenses and billfolds. Investigators say all of these items were likely lost in the theater, but never returned to their owners. It's not clear if this is a crime. The Palladium Theater hasn't spoken about what happened. The Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office is reuniting those cards with their owners now. 5:08 this morning, we're hearing from the man behind a wild pursuit, all caught on camera in California. It was on a motorcycle.
Absolutely. Stop what you're doing. You have to take a look at this video of the brazen biker performing stunts, taunting cops during this chase. The pursuit hit speeds of up to 100 miles an hour. Here you can see the driver pulls into a cul-de-sac, removes his helmet, adding headphones, taking off, I guess listening to Katy Perry. He finally pulls into a gas station, gets off the bike, and is taken into custody without incident.
It's your last chance to say anything about what happened.
I just want to say that I love my family and my 2 baby girls, and I'm sorry I disappointed them in the middle of all this.
Okay, so the driver's charged with failure to yield and driving on the wrong side of the road during that crazy pursuit.
How bizarre is that?
Really?
And
He
well
stopped to
spoken,
put in
too.
headphones, though? I'm stumped about that.
Very crazy.
He's like, I need some tunes for this ride. A lot of people want this to happen. APS could get some help beefing up security at your child's school from state lawmakers.
Last school year alone, thieves like these in this video made off with more than $1/3 worth of equipment and cash from the district. And this is a problem that hits APS's bottom line when cash is already tight.
Whatever they take ends up costing us, and so it's a big concern for our budget every year, and we really believe that would make a big dent in us making our budget if we could figure out ways to secure that a lot better.
Well, help could be coming from the state. In a bill recently passed by the Senate, 26 APS schools would get money to add surveillance cameras and a new key card system for doors. In all, there's $960,000 earmarked for APS security upgrades. That money still needs approval from both the House and the governor.
And we're staying on top of the latest developments in the search for a new APS superintendent. Last night, the school board voted to extend the search deadline. That's to allow new board members who just took office to get involved. The board will now take applications until March 31st and will narrow the field down and conduct interviews in the beginning of April. Now, the original deadline was earlier this month. Brad Winter has been interim superintendent since Winston Brooks resigned last year because of an undisclosed personnel issue.
A former New Mexico state student is pleading guilty to threatening a mass shooting on the college's Facebook page. In May 2014, Zachary Hess posted that he was going to shoot up the college and forced an evacuation of the campus. The feds later traced that threat right to Hess's computer. Under his plea deal, he got 5 years probation. Hess also has to pay more than $7,700 in restitution for what it cost the college to respond to that threat. 633, a bill that would protect victims of domestic abuse and sexual assault after their attackers get out of jail has now made its way to the governor's desk. Rachel's Law, inspired by an Albuquerque woman who was abused by her father, would give victims permanent restraining orders. It also means victims would not have to be present at future hearings with their attackers.
This morning, a former Bernalillo County worker accused of embezzlement knows his punishment. Some may say he's getting off pretty easy. Almost 4 years ago, Clifford Valencia was arrested for stealing nearly $23,000 from the county clerk's office. He's accused of pocketing cash payments for fees like marriage licenses, tax liens, and real estate records. Yesterday, a judge ordered Valencia to pay the county back for the money he stole and 18 months of unsupervised probation.
I have no concerns that this will be an issue again. I think this is a fair agreement given the restitution.
KRQE News 13 got a statement from the DA's office saying Valencia has a slim criminal history, cooperated in the investigation, and agreed to pay that money back. Okay, hot topic this morning. Have you filled out your bracket yet?
People are counting down the hours, I know.
Oh, yeah. We only have a few more hours. You need to get on it. Okay, so this time of the year, TV's tuned to college ball. All the talk is about brackets.
Yeah, but you may also be noticing more people calling in sick to work. Is the office more empty?
Really?
The News 13's Catherine Mazzone looks at the numbers. Apparently it's happening, and also some of the top excuses that bosses hear this time of the year. Catherine?
Good morning, Adam. You're absolutely right. Now, Retail Me Not shows that 3 in 10 Americans will play March Madness or watch the games at work. But what about other Americans? Well, it shows that they'll be staying at home after making a call to their bosses. According to a Yahoo Sports poll, 14% of fans actually take a sick day to watch part of the tournament. And get this, doctors report up to a 50% rise in the number of vasectomies during March Madness. So that could be one excuse a boss will hear. So Fox Sports broke down the top March Madness work excuses to get you out of the office. Number 5, you must leave for a client meeting. Might as well make it at a sports bar or one with TVs, right? Number 4, this one's for the ladies that are fans of March Madness. Well, you can't guarantee when the time of month is here, of course. Number 3, you threw out your back doing some housework, even if that housework was hanging up a new big screen for the games. Number 2, this one is a little gross. You're having tummy issues and you can't leave the house. And at number 1, it really helps if you have kids. You can't help if they're sick. Now, thankfully, these games are only until April. Then it's back to work.
These games really are all-encompassing. Thankfully, they are only 21 days long, so things should hopefully return back to normal after the final game.
Now, if you are part of that 39% that will watch from work computers, here's a little trick. Right here, the handy-dandy boss button makes it look like you've been hard at work all day. Back to you.
Oh, not that we're promoting excuses from work. Now, here's a reminder for you. You have until 10 a.m. to get your bracket finished in much less time if your kids are going to get sick.
Did you see that random spreadsheet? That's hilarious.
I know.
Okay,
Quick.
Speaking of March Madness, a move by Attorney General Hector Valderas could either be a total bust or really pay off. Valderas has made his NCAA tournament picks yesterday. He has the New Mexico State Aggies going to the Elite 8, the New Mexico State women winning it all. Valderas says 15th seed New Mexico State will shock the sports world by beating Kansas, Wichita State, even Butler before falling to unbeaten Kentucky. The NMSU men's basketball team is headed to the tourney for the 4th straight year. They play Kansas Friday at 10:15 right here on KRQE.
Yes, we'll see. With March Madness comes a lot of programming changes. We're going to be carrying some of that coverage live on KRQE. That means some of your favorite soaps, news programming will change. So you'll want to go to krqe.com for all of the details today.
Time now 6:37. A live look this morning from our nation's capital, where this week members of the FCC testified. The focus: cybersecurity, data security, and breach notifications. It was actually at that meeting that the group took an unexpected break.
That after a heckler stood up with a bullhorn in an attempt to make a statement.
Wireless is causing cancer, and the FCC has been hiding it from everyone.
The man wearing the neon yellow shirt with the words World Health Organization declares wireless microwave radiation continued to rant even while being escorted out of the building. He continued to claim that the FCC has known for years that wireless microwaves contain Class 2B carcinogens and is the result of brain tumors and breast cancer. The meeting, though, continued after that interruption. We're staying on top of the latest in the Secret Service. New allegations this morning that they may have erased surveillance video of agents driving through an active bomb threat investigation at the White House after allegedly drinking.
Yeah, this week the House Oversight Committee requested additional surveillance of that incident, but was told it's policy to erase the video after 72 hours. However, a spokesman for the service says in some cases they do hold on to those videos for further investigations. Meanwhile, developing right now, authorities in Indonesia say they're wrapping up the search for bodies and wreckage of December's AirAsia crash on Tuesday. Family members of victims yet to be discovered plan to meet with AirAsia officials. They say they want the airline to continue the search using its own funds. All the 162 people on board were killed when it crashed into the Java Sea. That was back in December.